Now, I was in India at the time this all happened. I was doing a speech in Kolkata, and I saw all the coverage, saw all the media coverage, saw all the newspapers, the reactions. It caused a storm, as well it might. And I looked at it very closely because people were asking me for my opinion as well. Now, I looked at that footage thinking, how far had Jos Buttler gone down the pitch? And the answer is virtually nowhere. So in other words, if Ashwin had delivered there, at the normal point of his delivery, how far had Jos gone? He'd gone maybe that much, he'd hardly gone anywhere at all. So he wasn't stealing any ground as such. And I personally think Jos could have assumed that Ravi was going to let the ball go at that moment, and the ball would be delivered and we'd see what happened next. Where I understand that this is legal and where it's valid is when someone is trying to steal a lot of ground. So in other words, if Jos had been a yard further down the pitch at that time, that would have been incredibly obvious, and I think Ashwin would have been completely in his rights to try and, to actually Mankading. But I don't like it when it's so borderline. And I much prefer, I've seen it before, I much prefer it when someone does give a proper warning, which is not in the rules, it's not in the laws, but it is one of those conventions which I think makes cricket, should we say, nice. I think it's a good thing to make a point as a bowler. If you think someone's about to steal ground or has already stolen ground, make your point first time, and if they do it again, then I think you're entirely entitled to get on with the Mankading. I just thought at the time that it was a misjudgment. Said so at the time in the Indian media. I know Ashwin himself was very keen to defend himself, and again, he's entitled to do that because it's within the laws to do that. And of course, the umpires just will look at the footage, they'll look at the replays, they'll give their decision, they have no choice but to give it out. For me, my advice to anyone of any age, to young teams, to young players, to players of any age, whether they be 15, 18, 20, 25, 35, 40, whatever it is, my advice is give that warning, because it just feels so much better. It still makes the point, still gives you the chance to carry out the Mankading later if that is required, but give that warning. That's my advice.